My name is Autumn Townsend, and I'm 33 years old. I never thought a single afternoon could shatter everything I believed about family. But Thanksgiving last year did exactly that, and I still feel the weight of it every single morning when I wake up and look at my two kids sleeping peacefully, completely unaware of what their grandparents truly think of them. Let me take you back to that day. It was a crisp November Thursday, the kind of day that smells like cinnamon and wood smoke and feels like it belongs on a greeting card. My kids, Lily, who is 9, and Jace, who is 7, had been excited all week. They'd picked out what they wanted to wear, helped me bake a pie the night before, and kept asking me how many more hours until we got to Grandma and Grandpa's house. That excitement on their faces, that pure and innocent joy, I keep coming back to it now because of what happened next. We arrived at my parents' home around noon. The house was full. My older sister Renee was there with her husband and their 3 kids, and my younger brother Derek had driven up with his girlfriend and his daughter. The table was beautiful. My mom had gone all out, like she always did. Flowers, candles, the good china. Everything looked perfect on the surface. Dinner went smoothly enough. There was laughter, there was turkey, there was the usual family small talk about jobs and weather and holiday plans. Lily and Jace were well behaved, helping clear plates and saying please and thank you like I'd always taught them. I felt proud watching them. I thought my parents did too. Then came the moment that changed everything. After dessert, my father stood up from the head of the table with this warm, practiced smile on his face, the kind he uses when he's about to make a speech, and announced that he and my mother had prepared something special this year. He said, and I remember the exact words because they're burned into me now, that they had gifts for the grandchildren who had made them proud this year. My mother disappeared into the back room and came out carrying a basket full of wrapped presents, each one labeled with a name. I watched as she called out each name one by one. My niece Bella. My nephew Connor. My nephew Ryan. Derek's daughter Zoe. Each child walked up, took their gift, hugged my parents. Everyone was smiling and clapping. Lily and Jace sat completely still at the table, waiting for their names. They were never called. The basket was empty. My mother sat back down. My father moved on like nothing had happened. And my 2 children, my beautiful, kind, well-mannered children, looked at each other with this quiet confusion that slowly, visibly, turned into something much more painful. Before I could even process what had just happened, before I could find the right words to say, my sister Renee leaned over toward me with a small smile tugging at her mouth and said, low enough so only I could hear, guess they didn't earn one. Something inside me went completely cold. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't cause a scene at the table. I simply stood up, walked over to my kids, helped them put on their coats, picked up my bag, and said we were leaving. My mother called after me. My father looked confused. I didn't turn around. In the car, Lily asked me quietly if she had done something wrong. 7-year-old Jace didn't say anything at all. He just stared out the window the whole drive home with this look on his face that no child should ever have to wear. When we got home and I had settled them both down, I picked up my phone and typed out one message to the family group chat. I kept it short. Don't invite us again. We are not your joke. And your gift is on the way. I hit send. Within seconds, my phone started ringing. Mom, Dad, Renee. All at once, all nonstop. I didn't answer a single call. I let the phone ring itself silent that night. I sat on the edge of my bed in the dark, listening to the vibrations die down one by one, and for the first time in a long time I felt something unexpected, not grief, not rage, but a strange and quiet clarity. Like a fog I had been living inside for years had suddenly lifted. Because the truth is that Thanksgiving basket didn't come out of nowhere. It was just the first time my parents had been cruel enough, or careless enough, to do it in front of everyone, in front of the children themselves, where there was no way to explain it away or soften it with excuses. Growing up, I had always been the middle child who didn't quite fit the mold my parents had drawn for their family. Renee was the achiever, honor rolls, college scholarships, the kind of daughter people brag about at church. Derek was the charming one, the youngest, always forgiven for everything. And I was somewhere in between, never quite celebrated, never quite seen. I had spent most of my adult life quietly convincing myself that things were fine, that families were complicated, that I was being too sensitive. I had made excuses for every cold comment, every overlooked birthday, every moment where I felt invisible in a room full of people who were supposed to love me most. But watching my daughter ask me if she had done something wrong, that broke something open in me that I knew could never be closed again. The next morning I woke up early, made Lily and Jace their favorite breakfast, and while they ate I sat across from them and spoke honestly in the way that children deserve. I told them that what happened was not about them, that they had done absolutely nothing wrong, that sometimes adults make terrible choices and those choices belong entirely to the adults who make them. Lily nodded slowly and said she figured as much. Jace asked if he could have more orange juice. Kids are resilient in ways that continuously humble me. Later that day I went to a store and bought 2 of the nicest gift sets I could find, one for each of my kids, wrapped beautifully, and I wrote cards for both of them that said simply, "You make me proud every single day without trying. That will never change." That was their Thanksgiving gift from me. Then I sat down and wrote a long, careful message to my parents, not in anger, not with insults, but with complete honesty. I told them exactly what their actions had communicated to my children. I told them that a grandparent choosing to publicly exclude 2 grandchildren while rewarding others is not a harmless oversight, it is a wound, and wounds in childhood don't disappear, they just go underground. I told them that I had spent my entire life trying to earn a version of their approval that I was starting to understand was never truly available to me, and that I was done. Not in bitterness. In peace. My mother called me 3 days later, crying. She said she hadn't meant it that way, that the gifts were tied to school achievements and Lily and Jace's schools hadn't sent home the same kind of report cards as the others. I listened to the full explanation without interrupting. And then I told her calmly that an achievement-based gift system applied selectively to some grandchildren and not others, announced publicly at a family dinner without any prior conversation with the parents, is still a choice, and choices have consequences. My father sent a text 2 weeks later saying he thought I was overreacting. I didn't respond. Renee sent a voice note trying to walk back her comment, calling it a joke, saying I was always too sensitive. I listened to it once and deleted it. What I did instead was focus entirely on my children and on building the kind of home where they never once had to wonder if they were enough. I started a new Thanksgiving tradition, just the 3 of us, our own table, our own food, our own reasons to be grateful. This past November was our first one. Lily made the centerpiece out of paper leaves she'd painted herself. Jace burned the crescent rolls slightly and was devastated about it, which was the funniest and most wholesome thing I had ever witnessed. We laughed until we cried. I have not attended a family gathering at my parents' house since that day. There are people in my extended family who think I went too far. There are people who quietly reached out to say they understood. I don't spend much energy on either group. What I know now, with absolute certainty, is this: protecting your children from the people who hurt them is not a betrayal of family. It is the most fundamental act of love a parent can perform. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can say to someone who has diminished you your entire life is simply, not anymore. My name is Autumn Townsend. I am 33 years old. I walked out of a Thanksgiving dinner with nothing but my dignity and my kids by my side. And I have never once looked back. If this story moved you, if it made you feel seen or gave you the courage to trust your own instincts as a parent, please subscribe to this channel.